a war hero turned president,
the game you love,
and a fun way to think about your time.
Any takers?
Time management. Who couldn't use a little help with that?
Oh man, I know I could. What about you?
Do you ever struggle making sense of everything going on in your life?
Is a novel approach torn from the pages of Dungeons & Dragons about how you manage your time something that you'd be into?
If you answered yes, this video is for you.
Dwight D. Eisenhower, 34th President of the United States.
Husband to Nancy. Not really. Supreme Commander of the Allied Expeditionary Force in Europe during World War II.
Architect of Operation Torch and the D-Day invasion.
Bester of the Blitzkrieg.
Famous for many, many things, including a quote that Nick loves.
In preparing for battle, I have always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable.
But it is another one of Ike's gems we're chewing on today.
What is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important.
Now, Eisenhower died in 1969, long before our modern world of pocket computers, connectivity, and notifications.
Which goes to show that being pulled in multiple directions ain't nothing new.
And while it might not be new, I'd hazard a guess it's worse now than it might have been when he said that originally.
Which is why Max and I thought it would be fun to PeakD&D pepper up one of Eisenhower's sweet ideas.
This is the Eisenhower Decision Matrix, or Quad Box. As you can see, you've got important running this way, and you've got urgent running that way.
This creates 4 sections: important and urgent, important and not urgent, unimportant and urgent, and unimportant and unurgent.
And this is a fine way to think about and frame how you spend your time.
But it's a bit of a mouthful, and here at PeakD&D, we prefer fun over fine. So we made this.
The PeakD&D Magic Matrix. We've still got 2 lines running this way and that.
Only instead of importance and urgency.
Boring.
Thanks, Ike. We've got quests and rounds.
You've got main quests and side quests replacing importance and unimportant, and in rounds and out of rounds replacing urgent and unurgent.
And to make the impact of this tool really hit home, we've named the quadrants. You've got your boss fights, slaying skeletons, saving the world, and fetch quests.
How insanely obvious does this make how you are spending your time?
Seriously, any RPG lover can take a glance at this and know exactly what these terms mean and represent.
You know what a boss fight is and how important they are for making progress.
You also know what it's like to deplete all your resources wading through an endless sea of skeletons en route to the boss you're about to fight.
And you know the difference between doing whatever it is you have to do to advance the main quest
versus going to a town 3 days away to drop off a letter for some woodcutter you just met.
Let's dive into terms. Ben, I know you love that.
They don't call me Captain Parameters for nothing. Everything you've got to do can be looked at as a quest. The ones that matter most are your main quests, and the rest, side quests.
And those main quests and side quests can either happen in rounds or out of rounds.
Framing what you have to do as quests is pretty natural to gamers. The adventure games we all love are built around doing quests.
These games we love are also built on the dichotomy of time. In Dungeons & Dragons, when combat starts, time matters more. The game becomes more urgent.
You go into rounds. What and how much you can do and when gets put under a microscope and quantified.
Ben and I go more in depth about this concept in our video on Cure Wounds and Facing Triggers. You can peep that here.
When you're out of rounds, you can pretty much do what you want in Dungeons & Dragons. Time gets a little more wibbly-wobbly. Whole days have been known to go by in a real-world minute.
Likewise, when you are in rounds, a single minute of combat in the game of Dungeons & Dragons can take 5 real-world hours.
Been there. Main quests are important, and in rounds is urgent.
Side quests are unimportant, and out of rounds is unurgent.
So, using both of these matrici can help you in 2 ways: to clearly see how you use your time and for you to think about your goals.
Here's how it goes. The more time you can spend doing main quests, boss fights, and saving the world, the better.
And the less time you spend slaying skeletons and running errands for complete strangers, woodcutters, also for the better.
Now, my boss fights are not going to look like Ben's or yours. The same goes for saving the world, because what is important to me might not matter at all to you.
Now, we're not here to judge how you spend your time or what's important to you. We're here to give you a framework and a tool to help you figure those things out for yourself.
While specifics may vary, here are a few very general examples.
Let's pretend you're going out to eat with someone who, say, is deathly allergic to shellfish. And a shrimp has made its stealth check and snuck onto their plate, and they've gotten it down their throat.
Calling 911, getting an EpiPen and using it, boss fights. Very meaningful, time-sensitive actions you can take.
Going to the kitchen to yell at the staff, well, that's just slaying skeletons. You might feel like you need to or you should do it, but it's not going to stop your friend's throat from swelling up and closing.
Now, let's say it's after dinner and you're at the hospital waiting for your friend to recover and you pull out your phone.
I think I'm going to make it this time. Using it to schedule that colonoscopy you've been putting off for months. That's saving the world, sure, important, but as you've already been putting it off for months, it's not urgent.
Using your phone to leave a scathing review of that restaurant and flaming them on their incompetence, 1 star! Fetch quest. I mean, seriously?
Extreme examples, but you get the point.
For our channel, PeakD&D's boss fights are releasing videos. To grow a YouTube channel, you must publish videos regularly, or so we are told.
Some skeletons that we know how to slay: Discord, social media, paying attention to what other D&D channels are doing.
Saving the world could be meeting to discuss future projects, coming up with collaborations, and then reaching out to those people.
Ginny D, we're coming for you.
Oh.
Fetch quests, buying and painting more minis, browsing Kickstarter for new projects to back, making new characters on D&D Beyond, all the stuff I like to do.
I'm sorry, Ben.
It's all right. I'm a side quester. I know it.
Boss fights are time-sensitive things you need to do that actually move you toward your goals.
Slaying skeletons are all the things you feel you need to do or should, but don't really move you any closer to your goals.
Saving the world are things you know are good for you or your goals, but are easy to put off. It's the colonoscopy, it's the exercising, meditating, thinking strategically, or learning the skills you need to get to where you want to be.
Fetch quests? They're fetch quests. They're the annoying small potatoes that you probably don't need. They don't really matter, but they're easy to do, and they give you a little bit of that dopamine fix we all crave.
Okay, we have given you the rundown of what our magic matrix is and some examples of how it works.
Now it's up to you. Take a week, play around with these ideas. Here's 2 ways you can get the most out of them.
First, take a few minutes before you go to bed, write down what you did that day.
Next, either right then or the next day after you've slept on it, drop what you did into the appropriate box.
Then, and this is high level, I apologize, pay attention the next time you do one of those things to how long that task takes.
And this will let you see pretty starkly where exactly your time goes.
Another way you can use the magic matrix is to help you think about something you want to do.
Almost any goal can be looked at through the lens of boss fights, slaying skeletons, saving the world, and fetch quests.
Writing a book, losing weight, learning a language, growing a YouTube channel. It doesn't matter.
Thanks so much for checking out this D&D Ideas here at PeakD&D. If this is your first time here at the channel, make sure you subscribe and like this video. Leave us a comment down below as to what box you are spending the most time in on your quests.
Yeah, or what saving the world is for you, or what bosses you're fighting. And thank you, Dave Blake, for the awesome art. You all can download your own copy of our Magic Matrix, courtesy of our good buddy Dave. That link is in the description.
We'll see you next time here at the Peak. You want to go back?
Please.
I'll back it up.
I appreciate that.
Back it up, back it up,
Please,
back it up,
please,
back it up.
please.
My daddy taught me good. They're the annoying small potatoes that don't, wow.
Now, Eisenhower died in 1969.
Nice.
Long before.
I thought it was
It's
kind of
He
funny.
died.
See,
Metal.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck
He
you.
died like a bitch of old age as a former president,
Happily.
surrounded by his loved ones. What a bitch.
Yeah.